Hey there, Ravens flock. Welcome back to Baltimore Talk, the weekly podcast giving you a recap of every Baltimore Ravens game from now to postseason. I'm your host, Anthony Propst, and I'll be giving you everything you missed, plus my own personal thoughts, opinions, and analysis. Yesterday, we had the Week 11 contest between the Baltimore Ravens and the Carolina Panthers. And honestly, all I have to say is it was a okay game, honestly. It was a pretty low-scoring game. I'm not going to lie to you. It had its moments. It had couple good things, couple bad things, but we can talk about that in a second because we always have to start off with the opening coin toss. Or before we even get to the coin toss, we'll start with the good news here. We finally got Mark Andrews back after being out for a couple weeks with a shoulder injury and us having a bye week last week. It really helped his recovery, and we utilized him pretty well yesterday. We kept it limited because, don't want to overwork it after just coming back. But we did get him back, so it was nice to finally have Mark back on the field. But now let's get right into it, starting with the opening coin toss, which Ravens did win. And out of the strangest thing, they elected to receive because we know how John Harbaugh and everybody like to defer on the opening coin toss. But this time, Baltimore elected to receive. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just strange for their character because they don't do that on the regular, or at least not that often. But it happens, so let's get right into the game. Starting off in the first play, Lamar threw a nice pass straight over the middle for 12 to his man. Welcome back, Mark Andrews. He was able to get that straight over the middle, throw a nice one, and got Mark 12 yards to move the chains on the first play. Then on the next one, he lobs it straight to Patrick Ricard, but he ended up missing it, unfortunately. But we also had a flag, an eligible man downfield, our offensive guy. He decided to take a couple extra steps by accident, which that happens. A little too excited of getting a good block. Then on the next play, it's 1st and 15. Lamar, he throws a sling pass to Demarcus Robinson at the Carolina 43 for a first down, which also resulted in a 23-yard gain. And I got to say, honestly, how Kenyon Drake has been the favorite some weeks, or Isaiah Likely, Demarcus Robinson was definitely the favorite yesterday. He was really putting up the numbers, really putting up the yards, getting the points. So that was a beautiful one there. Then on the next play, Lamar throws an incomplete to Mark Andrews. And again, don't want to stress him, don't want to overwork him. So yes, it did suck to see him catch an incomplete, but it's also better that we don't utilize him as much because sometimes if you overwork your main guy, it's going to result in something bad. And unfortunately, or thankfully, I should say, it didn't result in anything bad, but this time we just happened to miss the mark, no pun intended. Next play, 2nd and 10. Lamar himself throws to Kenyon Drake for 9 yards, and this was a nice pass. It was just a quick little corner pass, and it looked like he got the first down, but he didn't end up crossing the plane before he went out of bounds, so they stopped him just short of a yard. So now it's 3rd and 1, and Lamar tries to get it to Prochet, but he couldn't catch it, couldn't get it in, and now it's Baltimore's first to punt away for the day. And playing against Carolina, I should say, they have Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. And granted, you don't see Baltimore play against the Carolina Panthers too often. It's every couple years. But we do somehow keep playing against Baker Mayfield. I know last year when he was with Cleveland, he absolutely ran over us. And it was a sore sight to see. I'm not going to lie to you. It was hard to watch last year when he was with Cleveland. But even with Carolina, he did some pretty good things, I won't lie. I got to give credit to Baker Mayfield. He's a great quarterback. He does some great things. So on their first play and on their first drive here, he throws a sling pass for a first down, and he was just throwing those passes. This next one, though, he throws a pass, but it is stopped. This was a screen pass, so he threw it, and it was stopped for a loss of 2 yards, and that was very nice that we were able to get in the backfield, get the stop, and actually force a loss of yardage. Then on the next play, it's 2nd and 12. Carolina, Baker Mayfield, he hands the ball off, and they end up getting a carry of 10 yards. So now it's 3rd and 2. Panthers go for it, and they end up getting the first down. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the stop. I know we're good at 3 and outs. Sometimes we're can hold them pretty well, and other times we don't end up getting it. But that was one of those times where we don't force a 3 and out, unfortunately. So on the next one, on the first play, Baker Mayfield, he throws for 4 yards, but the man is taken down and tackled by Geno Stone. He was really doing good yesterday. He was actually getting himself to the ball, getting tackles, wrapping up, and it was really good to see. He was really getting things done. So now it's 2nd and 6. They try and go for another run play, Carolina does, and we end up just stuffing the line, just stuffing it like a Thanksgiving turkey, and they were able to hold it off and stop them right there. And they only ended up getting a yard somehow. Like, it looked like they stuffed them right at the line, but they did push the pile a little bit just to get a yard. Then on the next play, it's 3rd and 5. Carolina decides to take their first timeout of the quarter, of the half. They used one of their timeouts here. So then we come back. It's now still 3rd and 5. The Ravens end up blitzing real hard. And Patrick Queen, he gets the first sack of the day on Baker Mayfield. And that was absolutely amazing. He used his incredible speed, his incredible power to just blitz the line, blitz right through, and he ended up taking Baker Mayfield down. And that was a very nice sight to see. So after that play, the Panthers end up punt. And we ended up getting a flag, and luckily this is what was good, because usually on a flag on a punt, it's usually for roughing the kicker, and that's if you take his standing leg down. This time we got a hitting the kicker or running into the kicker penalty, which is where you hit his leg that's actually kicking the ball. Luckily, we only got a 15-yard penalty on that or a 5-yard penalty, not 15. If we had hit him and it was roughing the kicker, it would have gave the ball back to Carolina. Luckily, it was only running into the kicker. So that kind of saved us some points and saved us some time. So then on the next play here, Devin Duvernay, he calls for a fair catch at the 17-yard line. And that's with 7 minutes, 13 seconds left in the first quarter. So first play of the drive here, Kenyon Drake gets it for a 1-yard handoff. Then on the next play, he ends up getting a handoff, and it's a loss of 3 yards. So he got 1, lost 3. 2 plays. So now it's 3rd and 12. We throw a screen pass to him for another loss. So now on 4th and 14, we are forced to punt the ball away. But there was a holding call on Carolina with 5:18 left in the quarter. So it kind of helped, but it didn't, because we were just giving up yards and not really getting where we should be. And we had the opportunities to get there. We had the chances to get yards, but honestly, it was a really low-scoring game yesterday. Like, when this is out and when all of you hear this and you all look up the game, you're going to see it was a pretty low-scoring game, I won't lie, but it is what it is. Those things happen. So on the next one, though, as we flip over back to Carolina, the first play is a pass from Baker Mayfield, and it is incomplete. So he could not get to his man. He could not get the ball to his man. It was a little overthrown on that play there. Then on the next one, Patrick Queen, again, he stuffs him right at the line, like that Thanksgiving turkey that's coming up on Thursday. We all see it. He just stuffed him, just stopped right there. And it was great. Patrick Queen has got to be one of our best defensive backs ever, because he knows how to blitz the line, get to where he needs to, and either stuff the line or get a sack. When you think of defense for Baltimore, you're thinking of Marlon Humphrey and Patrick Queen, and even Geno Stone. I'm going to be honest. Now with our new acquirement of Roquan Smith, he actually did really well yesterday. He actually helped get a tackle yesterday, but that one we'll get to in a little bit. But Patrick Queen, he really is the one that likes to put up the sacks, put up the tackles. It's absolutely beautiful to see him do that. So now it's 3rd and 10. Baker Mayfield throws it, and Kyle Hamilton, he gets the stop for the first 3 and out. Kyle Hamilton, too, him being our safety, he really was doing it yesterday. I got to admit, our defense was really getting things done in the first quarter, I should say. I wouldn't say the whole first half, because things did start to get a little rocky near the end of the half, but the first quarter, our defense was really putting up some good points. So that'll force a Carolina punt, now going back to Baltimore for their 3rd drive already of the quarter. So once we get there, First play, Lamar, he decides to keep it for only running it for 2 yards. Couldn't really get anywhere, so now it's 2nd and 8. He throws a dime piece straight to Mark Andrews again, this one for 7. So that was absolutely beautiful. He just surveyed the defense, found Mark right over the middle, as he always does. Jin threw a straight bullet right to his man, Mark Andrews, for 7 yards. So now it's 3 and 1. Lamar takes it, runs it, slides, gets the first down. And that's all he really needed was a yard. And it's good that he got that yard because this one here, this is where things, I wouldn't say start to get a little hairy or a little rocky, but with the way we've been going so far, things really were not picking up. So now it's 1st and 10, and Kenyon Drake, he gets the ball, only a short yard. This one, we were getting short yards yesterday. That's why it was such a low-scoring game. But now it's 2nd and 9. It was a swing pass to Justice Hill. I almost said Justin Houston. It is to Justice Hill, who this man, he's been in the league for a hot minute. He's been with Baltimore for a hot minute, and they were talking about it yesterday on the Ravens Game Day Network. Shout out to them for always broadcasting the game. Got to give credit to them. No sponsor, as always, no sponsor, but they definitely know how to give the great commentary, know how to help paint the picture of the game in the head. So shout out to Ravens Game Day Network. But they were talking about it. Justice Hill, he's been in the league for a while, and he even said that if he just wants to retire after Super Bowl win, or maybe even after next year, or even if this year, if we hit the Super Bowl and we win, he's out, he's done, he's retiring. Which I don't discredit him, because even Tom Brady a few weeks ago when we played him in Tampa Bay, he even said the same thing. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, he's done, he's over with. But honestly, it's Tom Brady. Nobody sees that going anywhere. But anyway, back to Baltimore. Justice Hill, he was really doing it too. With him being at the age that he is and him getting things done, it was pretty good to see what he was doing yesterday, I'm going to be honest with you. But that was a swing pass to him for 6 yards. So now it's 3rd and 6. It was a handoff to him again. And now it's 4th and 3. But that is what will end the first quarter. And honestly, it kind of was just, it was an okay first quarter. Like, it was just back and forth, down the field, up and down. There was no big number change or nothing crazy or significant happened. It's, at this point, going in the second quarter, still tied at 0-0. There's no numbers up. There's no score. There's nothing yet. And obviously, as they do, switch sides of the field. So now, back to the game, and I don't understand how they do it, how it ends at 1, and then now back to start the second quarter, they, instead of it being 4th and 3, they now say it's 4 and 2, which, I mean, I'll take the extra yard, I won't lie to you, but on this one, we end up getting a delay of game call because we tried to get Carolina to jump, which they weren't jumping, they weren't going for it. They weren't with all that, so we're like, all right, fine, whatever. You guys don't want to jump, you don't have to jump, so we just end up punting the ball away. So then on the next drive for Carolina, the first play is a handoff from Baker Mayfield to his man, and he only gets 4 yards before being stopped. Now it's 2nd and 6, and again, Patrick Queen, he stuffs the line again and ends up getting a loss of 3 for the Panthers. He ends up getting in the backfield and stopping them again. Wasn't a quarterback sack, but he got to the man, and he was able to stop them and get them from going anywhere and end up forcing them to lose yards. So that gain they just got of 4, he made it only a gain of 1. So now it's 3rd and 9, and Baker Mayfield, he throws a dime pass right to his guy, and it's caught, but it is shy of the first. It's like 4 and 1 now, 4 and 2, so he is just shy of the first down, so they will force another Carolina Panthers punt, courtesy of Baltimore defense, and we really were having a decent defensive day. Both teams were really having a good day defensively. Offensively, it kind of was meh, I won't lie to you, but I'm not an NFL coach yet. I'm not working for the NFL yet. Believe me, I am going to get there. I'm only 22 now, but I promise you I will get there by the time I'm 35. I hope. So, on the next drive, Devin Duvernay, he gains 5 yards after his own 35-yard, after catching it. because he called for a fair catch and then ran it for 5. He caught it at the 30, got to the 35. But there was a flag at midfield, and there was a face mask on Carolina, which gave us an extra 15 yards added to that. So Carolina for the kick team, for the punt, they ended up getting a face mask call on and forced us to get an extra 15 yards. Bad for them, great for us. Now with 12:35 left in the half, the first play is a handoff to Kenyon Drake for no gain. And honestly, Kenyon Drake, he was really good 2 weeks ago against New Orleans because we had a bye last week, as you all know. He was really great 2 weeks ago against New Orleans, but he really was not doing what he does this week, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was because he had an extra week of practice, or like all of them did, or what. But honestly, it was. We've seen better when it comes to Baltimore. Their offense, we've seen better. We know how they are, and again, shout out to Ravens Game Day Network. They even said that if they play like they did against New Orleans, there's no doubt that they're hitting playoffs and hitting the Super Bowl. If they do what they did 2 weeks ago or even a few weeks before that, like there's no doubt that we can make it to the playoffs and Super Bowl. Like if we take our lead that we had, and I hate to always reference this, if we take the points in the lead that we had in week 2 against Miami and then keep it with our week 9 defense in the second half of not giving up as many points or not giving up yards and points, there's no doubt that we will be a Super Bowl contender this year. And I know we have the chops. I know we'll make it because I know Baltimore's skills. We all know Baltimore's skills. That's why we're the Ravens flock for a reason. And we will absolutely have no doubt in my mind that we will make it. But now, on the next play, it is a handoff to Mike Davis, and that is stopped for a loss of 3 yards. So now it is 3rd and 13. Lamar throws a laser, I mean a straight laser, to Demarcus Robinson. It was a straight laser, nothing but straight air right to the man's hands, and he ended up getting the first down on that. And like I said, even on the next play, Lamar to Robinson again for 7. These two were really getting it done yesterday. Demarcus Robinson, I don't know what he had for breakfast. I don't know if he ate his Wheaties or not, but man, was he on his game yesterday because he was really getting it done. So on the next play, it's now 2nd and 3. Lamar, he runs it himself, gets out of bounds to the Carolina 29-yard line for the first down. Absolutely beautiful. So, and this is what really set the game off, because on the next play, after getting a beautiful first down and getting beautiful yardage, he throws the ball. It's tipped up and picked off by Carolina. The first pick of the day by Carolina, and it's crazy. Like, we hate to see picks. We hate to see that happen. And even Lamar, he was mad out of his mind over it, because we all know nobody wants to see a good quarterback throw a pick. Nobody ever wants to see that happen. So that one did unfortunately happen. But that was the only one that Lamar has thrown in, I don't want to say, 3-4 weeks maybe, games-wise. He hasn't done it in so long, I honestly stopped trying to track it. So now that we're back on defense, Baker Mayfield, he throws it, and they end up getting a gain of 9 yards on that first play. So now it's 2nd and short, and they go for it and convert, because if you're that short, I don't see it not converting. So then on the next play, we are at 1st and 10. It's a swing pass from Baker Mayfield, only a gain of 1 yard. Not really too much to celebrate, so now 2nd and 9. And Patrick Queen, once again, granted, they got a 2-yard stop. They only gained 2 yards, but Patrick Queen, he got him after 2 yards. He got the stop, and it was absolutely amazing. I don't know, and again, him too, just like Demarcus Robinson. I don't know if he ate his Wheaties yesterday or something, but he really had it going for him, because Demarcus Robinson had it going on offense. Patrick Queen had it going on defense. I got to be honest with you guys. It was absolutely nuts. Those two on both sides of the ball really had things going for him. So now we are on 3rd and 7. Baker Mayfield, he takes it himself, and he does a slide move, and he ends up getting the first. I was actually just having this conversation with my mother this morning about how quarterbacks like to do the slide maneuver. Lamar himself, he only tends to do it every so often. A lot of quarterbacks, if they take it themselves, they slide. Everybody knows that our Lamar, the Speedy Gonzalez that he is, he likes to run it and then get out of bounds, take some time off the clock, and then try and stop the clock. A lot of quarterbacks, they just like to slide. And yes, that avoids injuries or hurt to the quarterback, so I understand why they do that. But on the next play here, Kyle Hamilton, he ends up forcing the stop for only half a yard. Our young safety, he ends up coming up, and they only got half a yard after he got the stop. It was absolutely amazing to see. I don't know what to really say about Kyle Hamilton. He gets things done. Things do go his way. Things don't. But it just depends on the kind of day he's having. But he actually didn't do half bad yesterday. I won't lie to you guys. So on the next play, Carolina, they have an incomplete. And they end up getting a chop blocking call. The flag went up. And our guy, he was trying to get around the block. And Carolina ended up dropping and getting a chop block call. And you definitely don't see that happen in the league. A while ago, it wasn't a flag and it wasn't a penalty, but now it is. And this one ended up costing them dearly because this was a 15-yard loss. So now it's 2nd and 25. They end up gaining 12 on the play. And that is Baker Mayfield. He gave a pass for 12, which that's not bad, but you still got a lot of yards to eat up. So now it's 3rd and 13. He ends up bobbling the snap on 3rd and 13, and then another flag on Carolina goes up. And this was a snap infraction because their center, he kind of twitched the ball a little bit and then snapped it. So this ended up costing them, and now that dropped them back for another loss of 5 yards. So it's 3rd and 18. Mayfield throws it, and it ends up being ruled a dead ball, which it is what it is because now there's only 3:38 left in the half, so that forces Carolina to punt the ball away again. Now tied for, I believe, 4 punts each, both Baltimore and Carolina. So now Lamar's back out on the field. We're back to offense. It's 1st and 10. Lamar, he fires to DeMarcus Robinson for 4, and this is absolutely crazy because, again, like I said, he was really getting it done for offense yesterday. He was the offensive star yesterday, I won't lie. And usually, again, it's Mark Andrews, but you don't want to overwork the shoulder. You don't want to stress him. So now it's 2nd and 6. We hand it off to Justice Hill. He gains 2 yards. Play again. It's now 3rd and 2. He hand it off to Justice Hill again. 1st down. It blows my mind. Absolutely crazy. So, and that actually brings us to the 2-minute warning. Like, it's absolutely crazy to think that Justice Hill, like I said, at the age he's getting to, that he's really still doing this and putting up yards and putting up numbers. I have nothing else to say because he was really just running it. So now we're on 1st and 10 again. Lamar, he keeps it himself this time, decides to say, you know what, let me take this myself. Let me see what I can do. He ends up getting 7 yards, and that wasn't bad. I'm not going to lie. He just took it, ran with it. So then on the next play, Justice Hill again, handoff, 1st down. And Lamar was really favoring him and DeMarcus Robinson yesterday. Those 3 were a triple threat because if it wasn't DeMarcus Robinson getting yards, it was Justice Hill or Lamar, or vice versa. If it's not Robinson, it's Hill. If it's not either of them, it's Lamar. Those 3 were the ones really putting up the yards and the numbers yesterday. So this next play, it's a swing pass to Justice Hill again, this one for 2 yards. 2nd and 8, we throw to DeMarcus Robinson, 1st down. And here we go, moving those chains, getting the yards again. So now it's 1st and 10. We hit our man Mark in the flats for a gain of 8. And this time we decide to use our first timeout, this one being the first of the half. So we finally come back. Lamar, he throws it. It bobbles, and luckily it's an incomplete because it was almost another pick. It was almost another one. Luckily, we ended up getting just the incomplete, so I can live with that. It would have been nice if we got the actual catch, but It's all right. So now it's 3rd and 2. Lamar, he keeps it himself. We get the first down, and then we decide to use our second timeout, trying to keep as much time on the clock so we could get at least within field goal range, if not a touchdown. We always know touchdown first, field goal second possibility if need be. So then on the next play, it's 1st and 10. Lamar, he throws it to Marcus Robinson in the red zone for a 33-yard gain. And this is absolutely beautiful. I have to say, this is absolutely beautiful. And then we use our final timeout of the half. And this what killed me, because we threw the ball. We're in the red zone for 33 yards, but we got a flag. I don't even remember what it was for, but it was clearly something stupid. So we keep the first down, but we end up losing all the yards that we got. I believe that it was a holding call or something really stupid. I got to be honest, because, again, shout out to Ravens Game Day Network. That referee yesterday, he was not playing fair for either team, either side of the ball. They were making a couple of jokes. It was absolutely hilarious. But we ended up losing all those yards but kept the first down. So now it's 2nd and 10. Lamar overthrows. 3rd and 10. Carolina takes a timeout before we even get to playoff. So now 10 seconds left. Lamar dumps it because they collapse the pocket on him. Lots of pressure yesterday on that play there. So then we get out our man Justin Tucker, who doesn't miss. And for a 32-yard field goal attempt, he ends up putting it straight through the uprights to end the first half at only 3-0. This is now halftime. We're going into the second half of the game after this, and only a field goal has been put up in the last 10 seconds of the first half. And honestly, usually I have a whole lot of halftime thoughts, reports, and all that, but I don't really have much to say about this one because it's such a low-scoring game. Not really much I can say. Yeah, we had things that we did good on offense. There were also some good things we did on defense, but same with Carolina. It was kind of just a back and forth between those two. Yes, Baltimore on offense and defense, some great plays, some great yards, and then defense, some great stops, some great tackles, like getting that sack on Baker Mayfield. Beautiful. But also, to go with the good, there was definitely some bad. There were some things that we could have done better. The ineligible man downfield, the pick, those things are avoidable things. And honestly, that's all I really can say about halftime, because with it being a low-scoring game, it was kind of just it was a great first half, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't Baltimore first half. It wasn't Baltimore kind of football. You know what I mean? We had the numbers, we have the skill and the players, we just weren't putting things up like we usually do. So we're just going to go straight into the third quarter, and now Carolina will start with the ball because we elected to receive at the beginning of the game, which was, again, strange for Baltimore. So on the first play, it's a handoff from Baker Mayfield for 4 yards. Then on the next play, 2nd and 6, our man Tyus Bowser, finally a veteran player, Tyus Bowser. This man, absolutely love this guy. His defensive prowess and his defensive and analytical skills are absolutely unmatched in his position. He's absolutely got to be one of the best defensive players we have. And I know I said that about a lot of our defensive guys, but he's just one of those veteran players that it's oh no, I know what I'm doing here. I got this, guys. Hold back. Let me handle this. And he ends up getting the stop straight. Didn't cause a loss of yards, but he did not let that ball get any further than the line of scrimmage. So now it's 3rd and 6, and it's an incomplete pass from Baker Mayfield. So this will force Carolina to punt the ball, but we end up getting a holding call on us. So we end up losing some yards to go along with what we got. So now back on offense for ourselves. It's 1st and 10. Kenyon Drake, he only gets a gain of 2. 2nd and 8. Jackson, he tried to run it, but he stopped right at the line. He tried to go for it. Sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't. So this would just happen to be one of those times where he doesn't get it. So now it's 3rd and 8. and he tries to go for it again, stopped right at the line. So then we are forced to punt the ball away. And again, it's low scoring, low hanging fruit. So now we're on the first play here of Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers' second drive of the half. So now, on the first play here, he gets a handoff to his man Foreman for only a gain of 1 yard, which nothing really special there. Then on the next play, 2nd and 9, he throws it straight over the middle, doesn't get anywhere, doesn't get nothing. And again, just like Baltimore, low-hanging fruit, low score, not really doing so hot. So now it's 3rd and 9. He ends up getting hit during the throw, but they do convert. He ended up getting tackled right at the same time he released the ball, so he ended up still getting the ball off, and they ended up converting on 3rd and 9. So now, next play after they move the chains, he ends up throwing it out of bounds. He was almost sacked, but he ended up getting the ball off because we got a lot of pressure on him, just like they did to Lamar. So we're following that. It's 2nd and 10, Panthers. They gain only 3, but on this play, Kyle Hamilton got hurt. This one, he ended up getting a knee injury, or not a knee injury. I believe it was, what injury was it? Actually, yes, I was right. It was a knee injury. He did end up getting hurt with a knee injury on this one here. So it took him a second to get up, but it did take him a minute to catch his breath and get back up. So now we end up on 3rd and 7 for Carolina. We end up getting pass interference. We got a pass interference call, which gave them the extra few yards. So now we're on a new set of downs for Carolina. And Jason Pierre-Paul, he ends up getting the stop, ends up forcing a loss of 3 yards. This man, he got big body. He broke through, and he got that tackle, which was beautiful. And it was great to see him get that and get things taken care of. So now it's 2nd and 13. We end up breaking up the pass again, forcing them to get an incomplete pass. And this is Baltimore defense that was finally starting to show up. So it's 3rd and 13. Baker Mayfield under pressure again, and he took it himself. He broke out of the pocket, and he only gained 4 yards. So now it's 4th and 9, and they end up getting the field goal. So now it's all tied up at 3-3 with only 8 minutes left in the third quarter. We're tied up now 3-3. It's finally, they put up some numbers, finally put up some score. So it's tied up. And I wouldn't say to be worried, but I wouldn't say to be, overly joyed, because this is Baltimore, and if it's a low-hanging game, it's going to stay like that. So now it's the next set of downs and the next set of drive for Baltimore. First play is a handoff to Justice Hill for 10 yards. That'll put us on a next set of downs. First play, he gets straight 10 yards, exactly what we needed to move the chains, beautiful as we do. So now it's 1st and 10 again. Lamar, he throws to DeMarcus Robinson for his 7th career reception, this one for 25 yards. DeMarcus Robinson got his 7th career reception on this play, and it was with 25 yards. It was absolutely amazing. And again, like I said, Patrick Queen was the defensive stud, but DeMarcus Robinson was the offensive stud yesterday. It was beautiful. It was great to see. He was really killing it yesterday. So now we're on 1st and 10 again. Devin Duvernay, he gets the catch for 3. And just like Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews, their names weren't called as much yesterday. Or even DeMarcus Jackson. They weren't really putting up some yards and numbers yesterday. And this young man, Josh Oliver, he ends up getting a gain of 2. And that was a good play. Honestly, it was just a nice handoff to Josh Oliver, gain of 2. But this is when they did report, because he come out of the tent, that Kyle Hamilton, it was confirmed to be a knee injury, and he was questionable to return, which he did not return yesterday. So hopefully he will recover and be back next week when we take on our next opponent, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. But we'll get there soon. So on the next play here, on the next one we got going, it's 3rd and 5, and we throw to our man Mark Andrews, who does get the first down, as he does. Like, Mark and Lamar, killing it. Great teammates, great teamwork, absolutely amazing. So now it's 1st and 10. Lamar, he throws to Kenyon Drake for an incomplete pass, unfortunately. This one, he couldn't just get reeled in. He almost had it, but that unfortunately did not work out in our favor. So on the next play, it's 2nd and 10. It's now 2nd and 10, I believe. We send to Justice Hill for a gain of 6. We hand it off to him, which is absolutely beautiful. So now, we are now at 3rd and 4. We are now at 3rd down, 4 yards to go. Lamar Jackson, he throws to Justice Hill again. And this one really grinded my gears, I won't lie to you, because this was a terrible call. There was a face mask call, and again, this ref, they made a joke that he should not be flying commercial, but luckily he turned it around. This one, it was a face mask call, but you had to see it to believe it. He said it was a face mask call, but when you look at it, our guy hit the face mask and let go. Like, he didn't fully grab him and yank him down. He didn't do none of that. It was a straight slap and go. Like, he got his fingers in there, but he pulled back and let go before it could legitimately be called. But this was a terrible call. This one was one of the worst calls I've seen in a while. And yeah, we've had some doozies, but this one was just, it was not a good call at all. So now it's 3rd and 19, because that gave us a loss of 15. And Lamar, this one, he is sacked. And unfortunately, Ronnie Stanley, he was hurt, and he was limping off. He needed help from the trainers to get off the field, and this could have been an ankle injury. Hopefully not the same one, and he was questionable to return yesterday, and unfortunately he did not return either. So that's 2 of our big wigs, one on offense, one on defense, that did not return yesterday due to injuries. And hopefully they are back next week, because those 2 are 2 names that we cannot afford to not have. So on the next play here, we are on 4 and 26. We are forced to punt the ball. And this is where John Harbaugh said, I need to challenge that, because we threw our punter, young punter, rookie, he kicked it up, and they deemed it as a touchback, in quotations, but John Harbaugh, he threw up the challenge flag, and because it was not a touchback, because they were saying that our man, when he touched the ball, that his heels and his foot were still in the end zone, and what deemed it as a touchback. But when you watched the play and reviewed it, we ended up winning the challenge because he had gotten 1 foot in, then pulled it out, and same with the other one. He had gotten both feet back in before he touched the ball, which, again, was a terrible call on the referee's part. But luckily, John Harbaugh threw up the challenge flag and was able to deem it and win. So this one was a good challenge and a good win. So now it's 1st and 10 for Carolina from their own 5-yard line, which was absolutely great. Deep in their own territory here. Baker Mayfield's in his own end zone getting this ball back in the shotgun formation. So on their first set of downs, they end up throwing the ball for 7 yards. So now it's 2nd and 3, and with 3 minutes, 7 seconds left on the clock for the third quarter, and they end up converting. Now 1st and 10, Tyus Bowser, he ends up causing a lot of pressure, but they do complete the pass. And this call I will give, this one was another face mask call on us, but this one, it was by Chuck Clark on the defense, and this one ended up getting caught and getting called, and Chuck Clark was mad. He definitely was angry about this one here. But on the next play, Carolina, they ended up only gaining a yard. It was a quick handoff and stopped after only a yard. So now it's 2nd and 9. Baker Mayfield throws, incomplete. 3rd and 9, and then there was a flag on the play due to a false start by Carolina. So now that'll back them up 5 yards, luckily for us. pushing them back. So now it's 3rd and 14. Carolina, they only gain 11 thanks to Roquan Smith getting the stop. They had a handoff. They had a pass play. Baker Mayfield threw it, hit him at 11 yards. Roquan Smith came in, took him down, no hesitation, no issue. So now it's 4 and 3. Carolina punts, but they end up getting a delay of game call, which luckily for us helped us out pretty good. So now 22 seconds left on the clock for the game in the third quarter, but we're at our own 14-yard line, and Lamar, he ends up taking it himself and only gains 5 yards, and this will end the third quarter. It's still tied up 3-3 going into quarter 4 now. It's still a low-hanging fruit game. It's still I don't want to say I will say it's not a high-scoring game, but we're not out of the woods yet. We're still tied. There's still 15 minutes left in this game to get things either in our favor or to completely fumble the bag. But we're getting there. So now it's 2nd and 5. It's a handoff to Kenyon Drake, 4-4 gain. And that was good because we absolutely got things done with him. He was able to get us some extra yards. So now it's 3rd and short. Lamar, he throws a sling pass to Demarcus Robinson for 12 yards. Beautiful again. Like I said, Demarcus Robinson really was the man to get it done yesterday. He really had things going for him, really had things revved up. So we're now on a fresh set of downs, fresh set of numbers. It's 1st and 10. We get a handoff to Kenyon Drake for 9.5-yard gain. This had to be his best play of the day. It was a nice handoff for 9.5 yards. So now this only took 2 minutes off the clock in these few plays. Only 2 minutes. So now we're on 2nd and inches. Handoff to Patrick Ricard. Conversion. Easy. Patrick Ricard, being the big body that he is, busted through the line and ended up getting the new set of downs. So now we're on 1st and 10. Lamar straight to his man over the middle again, just like earlier. 1st and 10. We send to Mark Andrews for a gain of 7 yards once again. So now it's 2nd and 3, and John Harbaugh throws up the challenge flag again. This one here, this one still blows my mind and it absolutely crazy. I don't understand this at all. John Harbaugh said that he didn't get knocked out of bounds and could have kept going. Like, it looked like Mark Andrews got knocked out of bounds when he caught the ball, but he actually didn't. So when you watch the game and you see it, somehow they deemed it non-reviewable. Like, I don't want to, like, John Harbaugh, everybody in Carolina, all the fans, even me at home, I don't understand what that meant. And if somebody could please tell me what non-reviewable means, like, for a play like that. Like, I completely baffled and confused on why it was deemed non-reviewable. But we didn't lose a challenge flag, and we didn't lose a timeout either. But I just don't understand why it was non-reviewable in quotations, because that doesn't really make sense to me. But it is what it is, I guess, because it's now 2nd and 3. We get a handoff to Justice Hill and convert once again. Then on the next play, 1st and 10, we throw to Mark Andrews again, who this time does get the first. So next play, it's first and 10, handoff to Justice Hill for only a gain of 2. 2nd and 8. An incomplete pass to Kenyon Drake, but this time it was almost picked off. But luckily, where it was hit incomplete. Luckily, the Carolina couldn't get to it as quick, so luckily there was no pick on that play there. So now it's 3rd and 8, and we have a delay of game call, and unfortunately, so now it's 3rd and 13. This one to Demarcus Robinson for a gain of 9. A gain of 9, and now Baltimore, we're at 4th and 4. We're getting down to the wire here. So now with a 37-yard field goal attempt, Justin Tucker, he does his amazing job. You know, as they always like to remind everybody, most accurate kicker in NFL history. We've had him for so many years. I know he's been with Baltimore since I became a fan back in 2012 and then the 2013 Super Bowl. So he's been with the league since as long as I've been a fan. And I've been a fan now for 10 years. So he's been with them for over 10 years. It's absolutely crazy. So now we end up finally taking the lead back again, now 6-3 with 8:27 left in the game. So now Carolina's back on offense. It's 1st and 10. Baker Mayfield, I should say, he has to dump the ball away because we put immense pressure on him, and it's incomplete. 2nd and 10, Baker Mayfield throws it, and John Harbaugh throws up the challenge flag again because I don't even remember why he threw up the challenge flag for this one. I don't even remember what it was for. It was for something. John Harbaugh, this now is the 3rd challenge flag he threw up of the day, and it's hard to keep track. But whatever the call was, we got the turnover because it ended up becoming our ball. It was, I believe it wasn't a pick, I don't believe. It was something. It was something that they did that ended up getting us, whatever it was. John Harbaugh threw it. We won the challenge and ended up causing a turnover for us to get the ball back. So now it's 1st and 10 back on offense for Baltimore, and we get ahead. We give the ball to Kenyon Drake, who gains 29. And I was wrong earlier when I said that 9.5 play was his big staple. That 29-yard gain was his big staple yesterday. That's when he really got things done. So now we get the ball down further, and Kenyon Drake, he gets the ball again and is stopped, but it was offsides on Carolina, so that ended up helping us out a good amount. In this one, we were in the red now, so Lamar, he ends up faking the handoff, sold the handoff, and he kept it himself and dove in for the touchdown. This being the first and only touchdown by either teams of the day, and it was by our beautiful, amazing quarterback, Lamar Jackson. And this with 7:16 left in the game, and it being 13-3, and that was again, only touchdown of the day that happened yesterday, and it was by Lamar. And this was the only touchdown. These are the only points that end up getting put up. So now we're on the kickoff, and there's a penalty flag thrown up. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team. Penalty will be, I think it was a 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic 1st down for Carolina. So now Baker Mayfield, he's back on offense. He gets the handoff and ends up not going anywhere. But now we're on 2nd down, and Calais Campbell, he ends up coming in and getting the sack on Baker Mayfield. This one dropped them back so much. Baker Mayfield dropped back 7 yards. Calais Campbell came in, and he got the stop, got the sack. Absolutely beautiful. And this one was absolutely amazing. So now it's 3rd and 17. Patrick Queen, he ends up getting the stop now after a 10-yard gain by Carolina. He ends up coming in and smacking them in the mouth and said, nope, I'm going to stop you right here. You got the 10 yards you think you needed, but I'm going to stop you right here. So now it's 4th and 7. And they end up trying to go for it because with the game coming down to the wire and us being up by 10, Baker Mayfield's like, I'm not going out like that. I'm getting this dub. Well, you thought, because Jason Pierre-Paul came in with it and sacked him again. 3 sacks on Baker Mayfield now today, and it is absolutely crazy. So we end up turning the ball over for us. Now it's 1st and 10. Lamar, he keeps it himself. And I was mistaken earlier with that Demarcus Robinson play. I jumped a little ahead in my analysis because this was the play where Lamar, he kept it for 26, but there was a holding call on us. And this is where we kept the 1st down but had the loss of yards, which I hate calls like this. It's absolutely annoying, absolutely stupid. But at least we got the 1st down, but we didn't get our yards like we should have. So now with us still being on 1st and 10, we end up giving it to Kenyon Drake again. This only after being a 5-yard gain with 4:51 left in the game. So now it's 2nd and 5. We throw a shovel pass to Isaiah Likely, and this one he couldn't end up getting because there was no gain on the play. He got the ball, but he was stopped right there. And then Carolina decides to take their timeout. And now, I don't understand how we go back from 2nd and 5 to 3rd and 7, which I don't know if they moved the ball back or didn't spot it properly. So it's 3rd and 7. Lamar is sacked at his own 41-yard line. And then Carolina decides to take their second timeout of the half, leaving them with one left. And now with there only being 4.5 minutes left of the game, Baltimore decides to punt the ball away. And now it is back on Baker Mayfield to try and pull up some points and try and put up the numbers and send this thing into overtime. But on the first play, he throws an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10, he throws another incomplete pass, but this time Baltimore had a neutral zone infraction flag, which ended up giving them 5 yards to get closer. So now it's 3rd and 5, and Panthers end up converting and getting the first down. Now it is 1st and 10 once again. They get the first down on this play with 3:44 left in the game, coming really down on the wire, getting down that field. So now Baker Mayfield, he ended up throwing a pick to Marlon Humphrey. And this here, I have to say, this is what did it for us. This is what really put our foot on the pedal and gave us the gas that we needed, because this one was absolutely beautiful. He threw it up, it's tipped, and Marlon Humphrey said, "Yoink, I'll take that. Thank you. Have a nice day." So now we're back on offense. It's a handoff to Kenyon Drake again for a loss of 2 yards. And again, Kenyon Drake, he was getting these handoffs, but he was not putting up the yards that he does. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed because he really was having a day against New Orleans. Like, he was really doing it. So this one, he was not doing it as well as he should have, but it is what it is. So on the next play, Lamar, he ends up trying to get it and keep it himself, but can't go anywhere. It's 3rd and 12. There's a flag by Carolina. They end up getting a neutral zone infraction, which was helpful. I'm not going to lie to you. That one actually did help us out a little bit. So now it's 3rd and 7. Lamar, he fakes the handoff, but this one, he ends up not gaining anything, putting us at the 2-minute warning. Yeah, we didn't get the ball, and we do have to punt the ball away and give it back to Carolina, but this is now with 2 minutes left. And all we need is one good defensive series, and it's over. And man, did we have it, let me tell you. So this first play here, Roquan Smith, he gets the sack, loss of a yard. He ends up getting the sack on Baker Mayfield. Next play, 2nd and 11, false start on Carolina. What's going on here? Then on 2nd and 16, somehow Carolina converts. Don't understand how. Then on the next play, this one scared me. I won't lie to you. Baker Mayfield threw a deep 34-yard pass, and his man caught it. He got it, and I was a little shook. I was a little shocked. I'm not going to lie to you. But now Carolina, they end up not getting the next first. They only gained 4 yards on that next play. So now it's second after the 34-yard pass. Their next set of downs, they only got 4 yards off a handoff. So now it's 2nd and 6. It's an incomplete pass. But now on 3rd and 6, this is what did it. This was sealed the deal. Braddock Washington, he deflected it, picked off by Jason Pierre-Paul. That's it. Game over. Baltimore gets the ball back. We take a knee, or we get the ball, take a knee, then one more time, game over, signed, sealed, delivered. Baltimore wins once again. This being their 4th win in a row over teams. Because granted, we had a bye last week, so obviously didn't have anything going on last week. But this now, if you don't count obviously can't count the bye week, 4 games that they've played, that's 4 victories in a row by Baltimore. And I have to say, that second half, or even the last quarter, is what really did it and what really turned it around for them. They ended up finally picking up a little bit. Yes, they gave up the field goal, but once Lamar got that touchdown, that's what sealed the deal. That's what that's what crushed Baker Mayfield's dream, especially after what he did to us last year when he was with Cleveland. That was a little sweet revenge, I like to call it, honestly. But my overall thoughts of the game, it was a 13-3 game. It was low-hanging fruit. It was a low-scoring game. So it it is what it is. Like, I won't say that it was good, but I won't say that it was bad. There were things we could have done better. There were things we couldn't have. But I just have to say, I'm just glad we walked away with the victory because we were at home at our own beautiful M&T Bank Stadium. I'm so jealous I couldn't have been there because I went to the game that we played back in January. I believe it was week 18, and that's when Lamar was hurt and Tyler Huntley was quarterbacking, which... Honestly, I'm going to have to check up on that. I wonder if Tyler Huntley's still here because, like, we haven't – I know he's still here because he was our quarterback during preseason, so that was a dumb comment. But you know what I mean. We haven't heard anything. He hasn't checked in for Lamar at all lately. Lamar hasn't been hurt, but we also – or even in our high-scoring games, he hasn't taken over for him. So I just have to say – it'd be nice to see Tyler Huntley. Like, I'd like to see us put up enough points and leave the other team in the dust to where we can throw in second string and Tyler Huntley can get his reps in like he should. Because he's a great quarterback, I won't lie. He is the reason why we have a good team because he is I wouldn't say a mini Lamar, but he definitely has a lot of Lamar tendencies. But that's neither here nor there. Again, my overall thoughts of the game wasn't bad. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible. Were there things we could have done better? Yes. Were there things we could have done worse? Most definitely. But at the end of the day, we ended up walking away with our fourth victory in a row, now going to 7-3 for our record this year. And as I said, if we just keep going like we do, if we keep playing Baltimore offense and keep having great defensive series like we do, there's no doubt in my mind that you will be hearing from me in the postseason, starting with the playoffs and then in the Super Bowl. And believe me, if we get to the Super Bowl, I always have my fingers crossed. And even in playoffs, if we get that depth and get there, Baltimore Talk will be taken to a high level. I will try and get as many people on this as possible. But I have to say, at the end of the day, it was a good game. It was a fun time. But next week, for Week 12, we will be in Jacksonville. We'll be back. We'll be on the road for 1 week. We will be in Jacksonville taking on the Jaguars at 1 o'clock on Sunday, November 27th. All right, Ravens flock, I will hear from you next time. Thank you for listening to me, Anthony Propst, here on Baltimore Talk, and goodbye.